Good morning, guys, and yeah, welcome to this live trading straight from the Futex floor. Very briefly, just to bring everyone up to speed with where we are in terms of market plays and all that. After yesterday, we had some very aggressive risk-off type plays. Equity markets across the board were all down, bonds were up. The euro was up with the dollar, so there was definitely risk-off across the market yesterday. Now, what we've seen overnight is a very bearish Asia, almost continuing the theme from earlier in the what we had in the US and European session. And what we've seen since this morning, since the open, is just a little bit of maybe a little bit of profit take from some of the shorts, but also some buyers have stepped back into the market as the market's opened at sort of really depressed lower levels. So important thing to understand, particularly for today, is our structure. In terms of structure, there are still sufficient shorts in the market, and that's why at present you're coming right into the height of a short squeeze here. So we're playing for a short squeeze type play. We're looking for for it to continue to squeeze and almost have a blowout type top before we get involved. So right now there is very aggressive pickup in the volume, very aggressive pickup in the price action. So yeah, we're keeping close eye on the Euro stocks. It's a market that is giving an opportunity as we speak, but the important thing to understand is there is a net short position in the market, so I don't want to be fading now that we've gone positive on the day, having started 1.5% down. So just going to keep up with it, and we're definitely looking for some absorption now. There are definitely sellers caught here, and equally someone looking to buy the market. So any kind of absorption on the bid here, we're definitely going to look to try and get involved and look for that continuation squeeze up the page. In terms of upside levels, well, like I said, when we have a squeeze, when there's flow, there is no real level. So I'm not looking to fade this. I'm merely looking to sell once all the shorts are stopped out. So that's the trade at the moment.
Also, the fiscal policy has room to manoeuvre.
It's too late. It's way too late.
Just a very interesting note. The very aggressive buyers stepping in, holding up the market here. Whether these are buyers, these are definitely not buyers looking to buy the market at these prices. They're actually shorts looking just to cover their shorts that are very much offside. Ever since we took out those 28s, we've definitely seen a little bit of pick up in volatility and price action. So right now we're looking for long only trades, particularly as we see that 4,000 lots. You can see someone clearly stepping in to buy the market. Yeah. So what we're going to try and do is go with them. Yeah. Try and get on the little flush here, keep it nice and tight, go with the momentum, not against the momentum. So we're going to look to buy the high. Why? Because someone else is panicking and they're looking just to get out of their order.
Yes, let's all panic together.
Okay, interestingly now that buyers sort of pulled away there from their 46s. So we're going to get out of this, momentum's disappeared again. So we're going to have to wait for that buyer to come back in now.
One of the Goldman's expect policy to stay on hold, which will be in line with consensus. I think communications will also be pretty much neutral, and that the minutes could highlight that there are downside risks still relative to the August inflation reports due to increased risks from China and the emerging markets. They also still think the vote's going to stay at 8-1 for the UK rate change. So again, Goldman's essentially expecting a similar report in October to that we saw in September.
It's really important, guys. Pay attention to the absorption. Pay attention to the physical, what's going through here. The mistake so many traders make is they're looking at levels in these conditions. What you need to be looking at is, right now, the market's moved from almost 2% down a day to sort of 0.4% up on the day. So right now, I'm definitely looking, anywhere around the psychological zero level where the market's back to flat in the day. I'm definitely looking to be a buyer there because there is definitely still a sufficient amount of shorts that will be looking to cover those shorts, and they're going to be buying up the market. So any kind of absorption I start to see now on this little pullback, I'm going to be getting involved on the long side. Yeah, I'm not looking for short trades just yet. Not until at least all the shorts are squeezed out of the short trade. So again, we can see note the absorption 40-41. Buyer sitting in, stepping, absorbing the market 40-41, holding us bid here. Again, what we need to see now is we need to see that buyer step in and show more aggression and go to the market. A little bit like that. You can see we absorbed the ones, he lifted the twos, and lifted the threes. So now we're looking to get back long again. A little bit of a stop sitting below 40s, 39s. We get below that, we're probably going to drift even lower. Okay, so again, what we want to see now is we actually want to see, this buyer come back into the market here. See him hold the market bid, keep seeing him absorbing. If he keeps absorbing, the longer time we spend him absorbing, the more likely it is, or the higher probability we're going to have another go on those highs. So right now we can clearly see there's still a buyer in the market, still looking to buy the market, holding us bid here. Again, note the reload, the twos. Now we want to see the lift on the threes. Make sure that buyer is not only passive, but he's also intentionally lifting the market too. So let's see if he can lift those threes. That shows us our buyer is still very much here. So again, sell side action into the twos, into the ones. Just again there, reload on the 41s, lift the twos. Can he lift it and lift the threes? Note on the right side, guys, note the order flow going through. Okay, the offers, they're showing 1800s, 1900s. You can see the very big offers being shown, yet only 200 and 385 contracts are actually physically getting lifted. So in terms of real size being lifted on the offer, there isn't very much. And what that's telling us is that whilst the market is sort of slowed up here, there's no real offers in the market. There's no one standing in the way saying, well, actually, you know what, I want to look to sell a couple of 100,000 contracts here. So right now, if these buyers are still trapped and they're still trying to get out, we could have another little leg higher. So very important now, guys, watch the lift, what happens when we get a 49s, 50s. See how much size actually gets lifted through the highs here. Is this real? Is this 2000 not real here? If it is, that might mean, some sellers are looking to actually get some shorts off here. So watch the real shorts coming off here. Who's going to commit? Is there commitment to these high prices? And offer get pulled, offer get pulled. Okay, again, note, on this pullback, very small sellers, so nothing on the bid. So the buyers now, whoever's been buying it and panicking, is now pulling the bid away, and the offers are inflating again. All right, very typical on a failed breakout. So again, there's no real sell-side action yet. It's a lack of bids in the market. So where does that absorption come back in? That's our opportunity to get long again. And again, 85s takes out the bid, and a buyer comes in, 160 lifts. So again, guys, a game being played here between 42s and 49s. The market just rotating in a 7-tick range where the bid goes big and it lifts the market, and then the bid gets pulled and the offer inflates. Okay, if we see that absorption again, we'll try the long again, try and buy some more. Keep playing this game with the computer programs. Right now, clearly there's a big buyer here, and equally he's trying to get a position done on the buy side. Buys the market up and then pulls the bid away and lets it come back to him. So very, very smart trading going on here. This is a broker looking to execute an order, but he's being smart about it. He's not panicking too much just yet. So again, note how the offer disappears.
So I guess tomorrow we're gonna collapse. Just have to wait tomorrow. Fantastic.
Okay, seller stepped in to sell 150. So this should come back down to the 42s again. The bid should disappear. As you can see, the bid's disappearing, bid disappear, bid disappear. And again, he lets it come back to him. Okay, and look how the offers get inflated again. So what we're going to try and do now is try and buy some more and try and just scalp between this little tight little 4 or 5 tick range. See if we can take some prices on both sides of the market. So again, 2s reload, the buyer steps in on the 2s again. Now he needs to lift the 3s, lift the 4s again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Again, the offer pulls. Okay, now the 44 should pull again. Okay, what you're getting here, guys, is classic flipping. In other words, someone's executing a relatively large order on the buy side, but the way he's doing it is he's not buying higher prices, but he's actually allowing the market to come back to him. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to try a short side. So we're actually going to cut and reverse on this and just keep playing with this buyer. Okay, note we want to see a seller step in first. Okay, again, seller steps in. Now the bid should disappear at 6 and at 5. Okay, note the bid disappears again. So we're going to go back to those 42s now. Try and buy it up there again. Note again, note how the bid disappears on the way down. Okay guys, very, very classic flipping now. Flipping is actually a term that was used and created when big brokers try and execute an order. It's not that they're necessarily not trading, they're just utilizing both sides of the market to get a fill over a very tight range of prices. So right now you can see here, effectively what happens is, as we come down, the real buyer steps in at 2s and 3s, and then effectively he takes it back bid on very small sides. So the offer disappears, he lifts a few offers in hoping that the sellers can sell it back to him down at 42s and 43s, giving him a much tighter. So again, note the offer inflating at 45, 46. So we're going to look to buy the 2s again, wait for that absorption and the reload, and then we're going to look to try and take the 2-tick bounce again. Okay, so note the 2s, we're going to look to get filled here. Okay, so we filled at the 2s and we're looking for a nice little bid again. So where's our buyer stepping back in? Okay, a little reload on the 2s and should go bid, offer should disappear, and 4 should disappear, and 5 should disappear.
Final read on Eurozone consumer confidence where consensus is -7.1, and then we're looking for reads on economic confidence as well as the business climate. The business climate indicator expected at 0.21 would be in line with last month. Economic confidence expected at 104.1 would be just below last month by a tenth.
Okay. Again, notice guys, suddenly we've got a reload on the offer at the same price we saw the buyer reloading. So we're going to get out of this trade now. Price action has changed slightly here. Buyer's not as strong as what he once was. He was protecting those 2s, and now suddenly a seller is actually reloading the 2s. So we're going to look to get out of this trade now and then hopefully get back in on something else. Okay, it does look as though this buyer is now completed on his order. He looks like he's finished. So again, we might even try a little short here on these 2s, see what happens. See if he really is looking intentionally to actually just absorb a few more and then take the market off it. So very interesting dynamic there, guys. It's something you point down now. You're going right down. Between the prices 41, 42, and 45, we saw some sort of broker type execution, some flipping type price action where there was a buyer buying the market you know, really absorbing the market, taking it higher, then pulling the bid other way and dragging it back down until you had the order filled. So it's so important that you go and write that down and hopefully record it and learn from it next time. As for that, now we're going to try a little bit of a short again on those 42s. We know that's a key little area now. We've seen quite a bit of interaction around those 42s. So we're going to have a look how that plays out when it gets back up there. Other than that, if we take a look over the German Bunds, very, very similar kind of price action. If we get a little chart up here, you can see just a slow drift little price action down all day. So slow grind down day. So we're not looking to sell into the lows of the Bund. What we're actually looking to do is sell into any kind of meaningful rally. So any kind of a bid up in this Bund, will get me interested in a short. But I'm not interested in selling the lows. Right now I'll sell into a rally, but I'm not going to sell those. Just a quick little update in terms of our market positioning on the day. As you can see, Bund on the delta at the moment is just fractionally positive. We are right up in the top end of yesterday's range, so there's very much still a bullish technical feel for it. It's not to say we can't turn around now and ramp, but right now, price action is suggesting price is going to move still lower until we run into some meaningful type support. And right now, given yesterday's day type, there wasn't really any kind of meaningful support in the Bund until sort of somewhere around that 85 mark. Somewhere around 80, 85 yesterday we saw. If you look on the chart here, in fact, if I showed it to you on a 1 minute chart, you'll see the interaction that went on between buyers and sellers, around the 80, 85 mark. If I was to just put a line, a nice red line around the 85 mark, and we looked over the course of the day, we can see we acted in the morning, acted as a little bit of resistance, we then got above it, used it as support, came back, used it as support. Once we took it out yesterday, we can see there was a little bit of almost a flush down, the volume picked up, so there was very much an interaction again there. We came back, retested it, used it again as resistance, came back above it, a two-way trade again around that 85 area, went up again, come back one last time, failed at 89s before then rotating higher. So right now, there is no real support in this Bund, and this is a mistake traders make. Support is not on a line on a chart. Support is where a market interacts. Buyers and sellers interact and they support and resist certain areas. So right now, the first little bit of support I'll be looking for is somewhere around that 85 in the Bunds. Other than that, I have no interest in being a buyer in the market, where the price action is suggesting we're going to move a little bit lower over the course of the morning. So that's just the German Bunds. That's probably why I'm not trading it. I have no intention of selling these low prices. Whereas the Euro stocks, as we're getting a little bit of a short squeeze, we've got quite a bit of volume. It is a market that's offering, a few opportunities on both sides. As you can see, we've got a little bit of flipping opportunity there, which gave us a few ticks. But so right now, let's see how these 42s played out. So again, what we expect is a little bit of absorption. We don't particularly want to go too far off sides on these twos. Keep it nice and tight and see our sellers come back in around 42s. Okay, so someone bought a one lot of twos, 41s reloaded, and we instantly had someone sell into the 40s. We can see that 200 traded into 40. So right now, someone is looking at that thinking, okay, not a bad area for a short here. So again, let's see how this defense holds up. They used it as support. Can they turn it into resistance now? Okay, let's see how this plays out. Nice tight stop. We don't want to go too far off sides on this. We should expect to see a reload instantly on these twos and an offer straight into the ones. That's what we're expecting. We don't want to see threes and fours lift, otherwise we might as well just get out and again reassess the price action. So again, a little bit of a reload on twos. Someone is interacting there, but equally we've got a buyer sitting there reloading the twos. So there's again two-way trade going on here. Okay. We're going to get out of this again, guys. It's just not quite what we want. We don't want to see buyers lifting these prices. We only want to see sellers absorbing the twos and selling the market lower. Okay, don't forget we have still got a buy side bias. Profile's relatively bullish right now, so buyers are interacting here. Okay, again, guys, the important thing to understand about price action is that when you trade with price action, you're afforded you know, the opportunity to effectively trade, you know, the best prices, you know, almost the tops and the bottoms of a move. Now, the important thing to understand about that is when you're trading based on price action as opposed to trading based on technical levels, okay, you can keep those stops so much tighter because you have an expectation. In other words, you've seen there, my expectation was that twos would trade and twos should reload and the market should go off it. It shouldn't go bid above twos. You know, no one should be buying 43s if there's sufficient aggressive sell side, you know, or resistance sellers sitting at 42s, 43s. So the minute that price action changes, it almost gives me a reason to exit. I don't have to think about where we are on the chart. I don't have to think about, you know what the fundamentals are. I look at purely and simply, you know, the forward-looking information, which is how is price responding, and buyers and sellers interacting at those prices. So that's why, you know, price action can be very, very good to trade off because, you know, managing your risk is relatively simple most of the time. But again, let's get back into this. So right now we can see there, twos have held, ones have held. You know, we still got that seller there stepping in the way. And right now, you know, I would definitely be referencing, we get above 43s, we're probably going to push higher in the market. Whilst we stay below these 42s, 43s, we're probably just going to fill out, you know, these lower prices a little bit longer. So, you know, what we're looking for is a buy above 43s. But we're looking for any kind of shorts, you know, just to fill out a little bit of this low volume area. So again, guys, note what I said. We're looking for longs above 43. So on expectation, what I'd expect to see is we lift 43s, 44, 45. There shouldn't be anyone selling those prices. There should only be people looking to lift those prices. So again, I'm creating a trade opportunity for myself based on price action and based on expectations.
More from Norway's Olsen says that the weakness in the Norwegian krone has been related to the oil price drop. Just under 1 minute for the data.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to try a little quick scalp here against the trend in the Bund. The reason being, guys, is that as we've spoken about, the Bund at the moment is doing a slow grind down this morning. It's going down, extending. So if we look at the chart, so every time it makes a new low, it extends, and then it has an aggressive deep bounce, and then it makes a new low, aggressive deep bounce, and makes a new low, has an aggressive deep bounce. So every new low is met with an aggressive deep bounce. So we're trying the same thing now. We're looking for that aggressive deep bounce here.
6 for the Eurozone beats the 104.1 expected. The business climate indicator 0.34 above the expected 0.21. So consumer confidence in line, economic confidence and the business climate indicator both coming above expected levels. Seeing German state CPI for Baden-Württemberg, that comes at -0.2 month on month and unchanged year on year. So again, also just below the expected -0.1 month on month for the national CPI. Comments were out of Austria for the WIFO think tank. The Austrian GDP this year at 0.7%, which is above the previous forecast of 0.5%. Next year's GDP for Austria is seen at 1.4, above the previous 1.3. The separate IHS think tank, also in Austria, sees this year's GDP at 0.7 as well, which is in line with their prior forecast, but next year at 1.6, down to the prior 1.8.
Just very important to note here, guys, is when we were coming down, every time we've had a deep bounce, it's done a relatively lower volume. So what I'd expect to see now is I want to see these offers pull away. I want to see all of this just pull. I want to see no one looking to sell these prices. That's telling me I'm going to get the deep, aggressive bounce. So an extension with a deep, aggressive bounce. But I need these offers to pull. I don't want real offers on the market here. That will be a clue that we actually are going to get the deep bounce back up to sort of 03s, 04s, and our scalp is going to work out quite neatly. So right now, as we can see, a little bit of a reload at 6s. Again, we can keep the stop nice and tight. We don't need more than 93s. Note, every time it's made the new low previously, it's bounced straight away. It hasn't taken out the new low. It hasn't done, you know, a one-tick extension. So we can keep this nice and tight. Don't need to do anything too smart here. So again, a little bit of reload going on in 95s, but again, also someone sitting on the offer there. So what we want to see is we want to see that seller disappear and see the market go back bid. Okay, we can see, look at the absorption, 1700 traded, buyer steps in and lifts the 6s. Okay, note though, only 105 lifted at 6. So we want to see a little bit more of an intentional buy here, and not such a, we want to see a little bit, someone lift maybe 200-300 a market, not 100. Okay, so let's see if someone can lift those 7s in a little bit more size than 100 lots. Okay, note there, 135 lifts a 380 offer, and note the offer's pulled now. 98 pulls, which means 99 should pull, 00 should pull, and we should get that straight line bid back up the page like we've seen the 4 times previously. So we're just going to finish off here, guys. What we're going to do is, if you have any questions, send me a message on Twitter, or if you have any questions about the price action. Otherwise, join me in the debrief this afternoon. I will go over a few more trade ideas with you, maybe some price action trading. Otherwise, good luck for the rest of the day. Take it easy, and we'll catch up again next week.